Hello, 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 hello. Good morning, good morning. Wherever you are tuned to Endo Media, right about this morning. Yes, it's a very beautiful morning. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are tuned to Endo Media. I know on the internet, people are living in different parts of the world. So when we come here, we greet people good morning, good evening, good everything, because you never know where one is watching from. Yes, the world is very much mixed in terms of timing. So, yes, thank you. You see, now I was just trying to see whether indeed I am live and it's working. Yes, I can see. Now, good morning, everybody. My name is John. And just like we've been doing, or we started doing, we are doing videos here and there on our social media platforms. That's Facebook and YouTube. Like right now, we are very much live on YouTube. If you've not subscribed yet, please be part of our family. As of now, we are about 1,630 something. But if you could just ask a friend or you in person, go and subscribe, that would be a very good thing, because you would help us grow. And when you help us grow, that means that we will be in a position of making even very good content for you and for everyone else. So please, is just a request for you or a friend or so, just share to a friend or another friend and let them know that we are really very happy and very happy indeed for them watching here. So as you can see, I have put a very good topic right down below there on the that lower third. The question is, will Gen Z influence the outcome of 2027 elections? Will Gen Z influence? Okay, that is the topic of discussion. That is what we are discussing today, this morning. Let me share to a few friends here and there. You too, when you get an opportunity to watch this video, please make sure you share to a friend or two so that it can get numbers. You know, we are looking for numbers, and so that we can grow. You know what we are looking for? We want some growth. That's what we are looking for. Tunataka to grow, tukue kama hao wengine. So tukue kama hizo media ama tuwapite tena. That's what we are looking for. It's a small channel that is growing, and it needs your hand, it needs your effort. So when you see me just holding my phone, I'm sharing amongst friends here and there, and just to see who will come on board and how this content is going to go and help a few friends here and there. Or make us make good decisions towards the general election. That's 2027. That is barely a year and a month, I think so, because if we are going to have an election at or on 10th of August, that means we are barely 1 year and a month. That's 13 months. 13 months away is quite a long time. By then, a lot of things, a lot of dynamics. They say one day in politics is quite a long time, and a lot of things would have changed by then. So we want to believe that when we discuss such things here on our media platforms, we want to make a very good decisions. We want to ask people to make very good decisions. We want to ask young people, because they are the majority right now, going by the numbers. Yeah. So the question is, will Gen Z's influence the outcome of 2027 elections? Why are we even talking about Gen Z's? We are talking about Gen Z's because they are the majority as of right now. Most of them have registered for the very first time as voters. And then again, you going by the event or the occurrence that took place in 2024, June 25th, when young people felt like the financial bill that was being brought to Parliament was in the right thing to do by that time. They went to the streets to protest about it, and the unfortunate events happened, and we lost a good number of young people. The protest came by because they felt that there were some more laws of taxation that were being placed into the Finance Bill 2024 that were not very good with the environment, going by the fact that young people, after coming out of school, they are unemployed. They are not able to start their own business because of, we've talked about this before, because of high cost of production, say going to agriculture, say starting their small workshops. There is very high cost of production. Talk of fertilizer, even though the government says that they have reduced the prices, renting the farms, doing cultivation, and even selling their products even after they have harvested, it's also a big deal that needs to be looked into in the cost of production thing, as much as people tell young people to go back to agriculture. If a young man wants to come up with a workshop, you can realize that cost of electricity is equally going up every other day. There is rise of fuel every other day that is bringing about strikes from the matatu industry, from people complaining every other day. There is a lot of taxation in the salary from the government. So going by all those other things, they brought about what we call frustrations to young people, which made them go to the streets. That is way in 2024. And then ever since, there have been protests here and there commemorating the deaths of these young people who died in 2024. Even if the government came up with a compensation issue just to bring the young people together and the families and the guardians, it hasn't been good. There have been demonstrations up and down. There's the opposition elections here and there. So there are so many other things that have made young people to stand out, to be in a position of being questioned whether what they did, what they started in 2024, they'll be able to defend it in the election. Most people say it's not good to go to the streets because after seeing what happened to our young people in 2024 and 2025 and these other years, young people losing lives, being killed, some disappearing up to this very moment, parents don't know where their kids went to. There have been a call of young people going out and registering as voters and then influencing the coming election. The coming election will be on August of next year, 2027. And it's a belief that these young people having numbers and having been not contented with the current government, everybody is yearning, everybody is working towards trying to see whether they can get a vote or two from these young people. So the question is, can these people influence the elections of 2027? Now, it is either yes or no, depending on where you sit and depending on how you look at things. One thing is that the Gen Z's voters have a potential and they are very significant in this country. One thing is that the Gen Z is a very large voting bloc and they are between the age of 18 to 30 and who make the larger population in this country, and they have registered in good numbers. Unlike other times, you saw the drive that was done by these very young people called Nikokadi. That one, I'm told, did a very good influence on young people to go out and look for votes and voters card actually, and then they are registered in big numbers. That's one of the things that happened, and the politicians in power right now who are in office are equally very much worried whether those numbers will go to their side, and they are not sleeping every other day. They're moving out just to see whether they can bring them to their side. Number two, they have demonstrated political mobilization. The 2024 anti-finance bill protest and subsequent civil activism showed that many young Kenyans can organize rapidly through social media without relying on traditional political structures. This demonstrated the ability to shape national conversation and pressure leaders. Yes, with the coming of TikTok, with the coming of X, with the coming of YouTube and all these other ones, new medium in terms of throwing information out there, it has been seen that young people do not depend on they do not depend on traditional media or going to rallies or these other traditional ways of passing information or being influenced, for that matter. And it has become very easy for them to go ahead and do their mobilization, come out in large numbers. This has been seen all over the country. And at one point, it was believed that the movement was across the country, even though politicians came out later and used their money to influence young people towards their side, which has led to so many other things, including goonism. Since young people are very desperate with no jobs, now they are looking for ways of making ends meet. And in that order, you find that there is a lot of push and pull, rather, and then that makes it very difficult for these very young people to be on one side. But all the same, they have tried a great deal in terms of mobilization. They have defeated the status quo because people believed, or those in power believed, that with their money they can be able to influence these young people to a larger extent. But you can see that things have changed in a different way. Okay, voting is different from protesting. While Gen Z have shown they can mobilize for demonstration, elections require registration of voters, which I've told you that indeed they have registered a good number. Turning out during election day. You see, this one has been an issue that during Raila Odinga's time, the former Prime Minister, the late Raila Odinga, he used to have a very big number of youths who used to love him, vote for him, go to his demonstrations, go to his rallies and stuff, and all those things. But when it came to voting, these young people never showed up, never came to vote, and it has been a challenge. Now everyone is worried whether indeed after registering they'll appear during that time. It is something to be looked at, and we expect to see a lot of changes if it's anything to go by. Sometimes these young people, politicians use tactics, use tricks to make sure that these people don't come to vote during that material day. They start wars, chaos during the lining up and the voting time. They also use alcohol and drugs to these young people so that they don't wake up during election time. But we are yet to see whether they are influenced this time around, whether they've changed, they've seen the light, whether the kind of problem they've seen around are going to make them change their mind. Voting consistently across the country, that's another issue. Will they vote the same way they are coming out to protest? From Mombasa, come to Rift Valley, come to Nairobi, go to Nyanza, go to Western Kenya, Eastern, Rift Valley, go to all the former provinces in this country. Will youth come out with the same measure they came out to protest? That's another issue. Sustaining engagement over the months rather than days. The problem that has been seen around with these young people is the momentum. They had a very good momentum when they started, but with time, it has been realized that the momentum went down. So the question is, can they put out the same momentum they started with in 2024? Can the same momentum be used all the way? You see, that is one question that everyone is asking, whether indeed these young people who are saying they want change in this country can be able to go ahead and replicate the momentum they had in 2024. Because if you look around, if you do your analysis, you'll realize that the momentum has slightly gone down in terms of coming out. If the 2026 demonstrations, June 25 demonstration, are anything to go by, you realize that the numbers of those who came out during these times demonstration is a little lower than the other one, the previous ones. It is one thing that we are asking, or we want to know whether the momentum will be kept, whether the momentum will be kept, whether these young people will keep the same movement all the way to 2027. Those are some of the things political analysts are looking at, whether these young people can do that. Traditional voting patterns will still matter. Kenya elections have historically been influenced by regional voting blocking. That means if let's say in Nyanza, Raila Odinga, the former prime minister, was the kingpin, as we use the terms here, will still continue to influence even if he's not there, and then the people would want to align themselves with the party that comes from their place. Okay, ethnic alliances. We are ethnically divided. That is very true in this country. And then will people align themselves with whether it's Kalonzo Musyoka from Eastern, whether it's Matiang'i Freddy from Nyanza, South Nyanza? If they will vote in those patterns, then a lot of things are yet to be determined. Party organization, which party do you belong to? Have they removed the mentality that it's not about the party? Because the constitution allows independent candidates. So also, can they vote for an independent candidate if he's a guy who will bring the changes that they want? Campaign resources also will determine whether these young people will be reached all over the place and be given the right information. Local political networks, those are some of the factors that will determine the traditional voting patterns, which will still matter during that period of time. There's so many issues to be looked at when we talk about whether Gen Zs will be anything to go by come 2027 in terms of voting. There are also issues that we want to look at that will influence or make sure that these people have the right anchor in themselves and make sure that they go ahead and vote. Employment and economic opportunities. Many young people have highlighted that they are missing job opportunities and economic opportunities that should elevate their living standard. It has been a problem. If that is anything to go by, then they'll come out in large numbers. That's one. Two, the cost of living. Cost of living, after 30 days, there's an increase of fuel. There's an increase of electricity bills for those who are doing their salons, those who are doing their PS games for business, salons and stuff, those who are doing welding. Every other month, the bills are increased for electricity. If that is anything to go by, then that will make a young man go out there and vote and make a difference. Corruption and accountability. Projects have been done here and there. Money has been lost. And those who are said to have taken the money illegally have not been taken to court, have not paid back. If that is anything, this is corruption and accountability. If that is anything the youth feel like should be handled, then that will make them get out of their house very early in the morning, line up to vote for change. Irrespective of who they are going to vote for, will they make a difference? Will their influence be felt in the voting patterns in this country? Police conduct and human rights. This is one other thing that should also influence young people, because for the last few years this government has been in power, young people have been disappearing, and then misconduct of police, killings. You saw the case of a young man who died in police custody. You have seen how police have been handling young people in the streets during demonstrations. Right now we are talking of a crippled man who was mishandled in Nakuru. That meant the police had to get into investigating the whole issue, because it brought about people asking so many questions about the same. If police brutality is also a major point that young people would want to work on, then I want to believe that this one will influence young people to go and vote. Education and entrepreneurship. Let's talk of young people between 18 and 30. These are people either in college or universities. Most of them who've gone through hardships, their parents are not able to pay school fees, and capitation, also coming late to schools. This one can also influence on how people are going to vote come 2027. How these young people are going to vote. Entrepreneurship, whether young people are able to get out there, start their small business and grow. If those factors of productions are anything to go by, makes young people feel like things should change, then these young people will go to vote with that in mind. Governance, good governance, and public service delivery. That is a major issue. The ones in power, the ones in office, have they done a good job in terms of managing or governing the country in the right way? Have services been rendered or given in the right way? Some of the issues that will influence young people to vote either way. We are not saying that they vote towards one person. Whoever they will vote for, we don't care. The question here is, will it influence, or will their influence make any difference in terms of voting in 2027? Yeah, those are some of the points we were looking at this morning. Wanted to make that small clip so that we can keep growing. So please, what you do, just subscribe and share this message to friends, and we will see what happens after that. So thank you very much for giving me your time, this morning. Until we meet in the next clip, please make sure you subscribe, tell a friend to subscribe, and please share. Thank you very much.